Transition matrices, part 2, more exam examples, a whole mixture of ones in here. Okay, this is taken from the 2016 exam, and it's a fairly straightforward in here. We've got our transition matrix, we've got an S0, and that tells us how to get S1 is T times S0, and that's actually what they're asking you to find, which is D, E, and F, and put some numbers in these boxes for those. That's fairly straightforward. It's time to hit the calculator. So all you do is you put in your T, and then you put in your S, and then you multiply them. And there we have our answer. And you know you're getting it right because I got a 478 there and I got a 478 there. And so we just take those values and stick them in there. 298, 94, and 130. And that's a fairly straightforward answer. Now, the notes about this is saying, like, yeah, anyone can bang a thing out on the calculator. It says that, well, not those words, but it says a matrix product such as TS0 does not show an understanding of how 478 is calculated. So you've got to show that you can get 478, which is good because, you know, if you don't get 478, you've done something wrong with your calculation. So if you've got T times S0, then you've got to know that you're multiplying this row by this column to get the 478. All right, because that's the first element. So first row by first column gets you the first element. So that's where we get the numbers from. So it's 0.65 times 520 plus 0.25 times 320 plus 0.25 times 80 plus 0.5 times 80. And if you do actually put that in your calculator, don't need to show you how to do a basic thing like that, I hope, you get 478 customers as your answer. All right, so let's just quickly revise that. So as we're doing this row by this column, what we're saying is it's this number by this number, then this number by this number, and then this number by this number, and then this number by this number. And when you're multiplying, you know that the first row by the first column gives you the first element of our answer, 478. So part C says, consider the customers who chose sea travel in 2014. Now, just to remind ourselves, S0 is 2014. S1 is actually 2015. So looking at 2014 and sea travel, well, that's this one because S for sea travel, and there's 80 of them. And it says, how many of these customers were expected to choose sea travel in 2015? So in the transition matrix, this year is 2014 and next year is 2015. So we want to know S to S, S to S. And so we get that we need this number, 0.25. So a quarter of the S in 2014 become S in 2015. So it's a quarter of that 80. So it's a quarter, or 0.25, times 80, which does equal 20. It says a lot of people made 94 for some reason. I don't know how you got that, but if you got 94, you know how to get things wrong, but the correct answer was 20. And don't forget to put your unit and say customers, just in case they get fussy on you. Now they do love these kind of questions because everyone gets them wrong. So 83% of people got these wrong. So consider the customers who were expected to choose air travel in 2015. Well, that's air travel in 2015. Let's remind ourselves that S1 is 2015, S0 is 2014. So this is your 2014 going to 2015. All right. What percentage of these customers who had chosen air travel in 2014? So which customers went air travel in 2014 to air travel in 2015? It's not 478 because that's the total from all of the other branches. So we want air travel to air travel, and our number is 0.65. So 0.65 of the air travel in 2014 became air travel in 2015. So we have to do 0.65 times the 520, and that tells me how many went from air travel to air travel, all right? And that does equal 338. And we know the actual total in 2015 was 478, so 338 divided by 478 approximately equals, something like 0.7071 blah blah blah, times by 100 to make your percentage, round to the nearest whole number. So pay attention, it says we want the nearest whole number and a percentage. So if you do that, that equals 71%. It said common incorrect answers was 65% and 94%. I think 94% is people doing something like 478 divided by 520. None of that makes sense. The big problem is that most people assume that everything's gone through. It's this looking at this 0.65 air travel to air travel, and that's where you've got to put the 0.65 in. So this is the question that just keeps on going. So now we're at the part E, subsection I, and now we finally got that plus B that we've been talking about in these videos. And the first part is just saying the element in the fourth row of matrix B is minus 80. That's it right there. Explain the number in the context of selecting customers for the study in 2017 and 2018. So minus means you're going to be removing things, a bit like, you had your dead fish and you get rid of them. And so N was no booking. So 80 people with no booking were removed. So 80 people with no booking were removed. Where were they removed from? Well, they're not fish in a pond, so from the study. And that's what people often wrote. A common but an unacceptable answer is written here is that 80 people chose not to travel. It's no booking, and minus, it means you're removing things. In the other things I've said, like, you're buying or selling. Remember, if you're selling the fish, you're getting rid of them. You don't have them anymore if you sold them. But in this case, we're not selling people. We're just removing them from the study. Okay, continuing with this question, it's part EII. That's what we're doing. And if we're looking at this, they say that we want to find the number of customers to choose sea travel in 2018, and it says don't forget to round your answer to the nearest whole number because you can't have part of a person. So all you got to do is use this formula to find 2017, and then because this is a recurrence relation, use that then to find this. So you've got to just do step 1, step 2. So this is step 1, this is step 2. Now we've got R, 2016, it's up here, and we've got B, it's over here. So we can find R 2017. It's just a matter of just sticking this stuff into your calculator. We've already put T into a calculator before. So there you go. I've taken this B and I've put it in the calculator over here, and I've taken the R here and I've put it in the calculator here. So we're all ready to go with our R and B. This is step 1 here. So you can see I've done T times R plus B, which is what we got over here. This is T times R plus B. And that's exactly what I got here. And then step 2 is this answer, which is R 2017. That's got to be done over here. So that's just T times that answer, which was this thing, plus B again. And then you get your numbers, and you got to remember which ones you've got. So we were after sea travel, remember? So we got A, L, S, and no booking. And so the number we wanted was this, and hidden under our calculus stuff, if you remember the question, it was determine the number of customers who will take sea travel in 2018. This is indeed our 2018, and we're going to round it off to the nearest whole number passenger. So it is in fact 190 passengers. And they seem to have given us a lot of space there to write things out, but that's all you had to do. Okay, this is from the 2018 exam 1, and I think this is quite a tricky question. Have to pull a bunch of skills together here. And basically you've got this antelope population, you've got your east and your north and your west. Apparently antelope don't go south for the winter. And they're giving us a formula like this. And so we've got T, we've got D, and we've got A3, and they want us to find W for A2. So let's just make sure we understand this. AN plus 1 equals TAN minus D. So A3 equals TA2 minus D. So we want, and this is unusual, not to find A3. They've given us A3. We want to find A2. So we've got to do a couple of steps here. First thing is just take that D. I'll do this in a different color. Take that D and put it over to that side. So a little bit of rearranging with the algebra. You end up with A3 plus D equals TA2. So if we find this A3 plus D, we can then rearrange to find A2. And we'll go through that slowly. So what we've done here is A3 plus D, and we've got this. And so now we know that I'm going to give this a name because it'll help me. I'm just going to call it C. So we know then that C equals TA2. But we know how to solve this because we've done this as simultaneous equations. Compare this to, remember, AX equals B, and we want to find X, so X equals A neg 1 B. So I'm going to label this up. Really, this is our B equals A X, right? So B is C, T is A, and A2 is X. Not confusing at all? So to solve this, we've got to just rearrange this and say, all right, I want A2. So we know that A2 will equal T to the neg 1 C. And C, I remember, is just the name I made up for that. So as soon as we do A2 equals T1 neg 1 C, we'll get our answer. So remember, I called this guy C. So T to the neg 1 C does in fact equal A2. And we're almost there. So don't forget, after all this, E, N, W, we wanted W. There's a W2270 is west. It is the answer E. Now, this is quite an easy question. It says write down the value of K in this matrix. So what's the value of K? But remember, I've said in previous videos, the total for this should be 0. So you've got K plus 20 plus 10 minus 60 equals 0. It's not hard to see that you end up with K minus 30 equals 0. So K equals 30. So K equals 30. And you can put kilometers, but that would be wrong because it's the value for in the matrix. It's amazing actually how many people didn't get that very quickly. 61% of people got that wrong. Wow, that wasn't even that hard. How many kilometers of highway are expected to be G in 2022? Looks like they're doing a classic iteration here. Now, it does say the beginning of the year 2021, but the maintenance schedule for 2020 is shown by M0 below. So this is actually M0 here. They're telling us is 2020, and we want 2022. So it looks like we're going to do 2 iterations. You're never going to do 1 on an exam. They're going to make you do 2. So we use this recursion formula here with our M0, and we should get there. So basically we have to do it in 2 steps. So we do M 2021 equals T M 2020 plus B. So when I say M 2020, that means this dude here, because that's M 2020. And so to get M for 2022, that equals T M 2021 plus B. So we've got to do a step 1 and a step 2, just some nice iterations. Job for the calculator, of course. So my T is put into the calculator. My M0 is put into my calculator. I've put in my B, noting I don't put K, I'll put in, not K, I've got to put in 30. Okay. So this is T times M 2020 plus B equals M 2021, which gives me this. And we said that T times M 2021 plus B equals M 2022, which is this. So ANDS just took that matrix, which was M 2021, and shifts it into there. And so there we get our values. Now don't forget this is G, R, S, N, and they said give us G in 2022. This is 2022, and this is G. So we have to write the answer, which is 457 kilometers. Please don't forget the unit after doing all those hard work. It says, students who found K correctly in part A were often able to answer this question correctly. Some wrote the correct matrix for 2022 only and did not extract the single answer 457. Well, that's a bit silly, isn't it? You write the whole damn matrix 457, 400, 363, 1480, but you forgot they just asked for G. But again, 77% of people got that wrong. I think this is also 2018 exam 2. So if you look at this, it's not really transition matrices, but I thought I'd throw it in there as a good place to answer things. This one you can actually answer without actually doing much in the way of matrices. It says write down matrix for P 2019, which shows the expected population in each of the locations in 2019. You've got P 2018, and it says the main town, M, changes by this, and then the V changes by this, and then the R changes by this. You can easily do this on your calculator because it's going to be 2,000. Now increase by 4%, so if you just times it by 1, you get the whole thing. It's 1.04. Should remember that from your financial maths. And then villages is going to be 1,800 decreased by 1%, so that's times 0.99, and then rural areas is 1,700 times, and it's a decrease down from 100, which is down from 1.98, and that will get you, and you just pretend to put those in a matrix. Quickly do those numbers on your calculator, which I've just done over here. And I get my matrix 2184, 1782, and 1666. So not much involved in matrices there at all, to be honest. And weirdly, still 40% almost of people got this wrong. Now it says you could actually have done that a proper matrix way. So they're trying to make you show that you can do this in a matrix way. So instead of doing what I did, which is each one individually, each element individually, they say we want to find this F that will make that whole thing work. And since you've already got the answer in the previous question, you know what you're supposed to be getting. And it also does this, F is a diagonal matrix. So the only diagonal that matters is the leading diagonal. So we know with the diagonal matrix, we're going to have a 3 by 3. So we're going to have a number here, and then nothing, 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 number, nothing, 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 number. And we just got to then find out what these numbers are on that leading diagonal. Well, they're these numbers, aren't they? All right. So let's just rub all that out for the moment, and just show what those numbers should be. So we want, remember those numbers I put on the calculator, increase by 4%. Don't do anything to the villages or the rural areas. Do nothing to the main towns. Decrease by 1%, 0.99, 0, 0, 0, 0.94. And if you do take that, and you can check on your calculator, and I'll pop that in there, 2,100 like this, 1,800 like this, 1,700 like this, you should pop out the values that we got before. 2184. I like it's a self-checking question. They're occasionally quite nice to you, and they've got your self-checking. You already know what those answers should be. So if that doesn't work on your calculator, then you've done something wrong, and you'll know that you've done something wrong. And there, just to prove that this does work, here's your F. Here's your P 2018, and that does equal that which is P 2019, which is the values we worked out from up here before. So F does in fact equal that. F does equal 1.0400 and 0.990 and 0.98. Please make sure you put those zeros at the beginning there. You don't have to do them on the calculator, but you do have to do them in real life. Problem is, and this is the common mistake, when people thought about decreases, I mean, you could have checked this on your calculator, people. Well, I shouldn't get angry at you. This is last year's crowd. Some people did put like for decrease as minus 0.01 and decrease as minus 0.02 or other sort of silly things like that. You're starting at 100% and you're going down 1%, and you better check it all works.